Did you know? These top-tier billionaires are absolutely wild right now. While us ordinary folks are stressing out over whether we can afford to buy a house in a good school district, they've already started playing gacha-style baby making. This isn't some sci-fi movie, I'm being completely serious. This is a real-life practice currently being carried out by those big shots in Silicon Valley in China, and it's called designer babies. Here is a fertilized egg, and by the 5th day of its development you can already tell if this baby is a boy or a girl, whether they have any major diseases, and you can even predict if their IQ will be high, what their appearance will be like, and their personality. While normal people are still opening blind boxes hoping their kids will turn out successful, the rich are already mass-producing their offspring like a factory churning out custom-made products. Just take Elon Musk for example. As a controversial tech giant, a disruptor in the new energy vehicle sector, and a man who loves setting off rockets. To carry on human civilization he is having kids like crazy. The names he gives his children are just unbelievable. A boy's name combined Aragorn's nickname from The Lord of the Rings with the name of a famous Indian physicist, while a girl's name directly used a spell from Elden Ring, called Comet Asa. That kid who shared the screen with Trump multiple times last year is his favorite, X, representing the unknown variable in artificial intelligence. Logically speaking, it's his right even if he wanted to name his kid Shine My Shoes. But he just has way too many kids. The publicly known number has reached 11, and the rumors out there are even more staggering. Musk once made the jaw-dropping claim that he's preparing to breed a Roman legion to protect human civilization. There are even leaks suggesting his actual number of children has long surpassed 100. There are also top-tier bosses in China who have been exposed for mass-producing babies overseas. According to a Chinese billionaire's ex-girlfriend, he has 300 children and hired underground surrogacy agencies in the US to mass-customize 100 kids of his own. Hearing this number of hundreds of children truly sends shivers down your spine and makes your scalp tingle. Even a US judge had a breakdown on the spot, saying that in decades of working, this was the first time seeing something so outrageous. The Wall Street Journal exposed that this billionaire is Su Bo, the boss of a Chinese gaming company. He applied to the Los Angeles family court to establish paternity for 4 unborn children. The judge checked and found out this guy had already applied for at least 8 kids before. The judge asked him, "You already have so many children, why are you applying in bulk? Have you even met these children?" Su Bo replied, "I'm too busy with work, I haven't met them yet." He planned to have about 20 boys via surrogacy in the US, and even claimed that boys are superior to girls, and these kids are specifically meant to inherit his business empire in the future. This kind of statement, showing a complete disregard for parental responsibility, deeply shocked the judge, who outright rejected his paternity application, stating that the original intention of surrogacy was to help families unable to conceive, not for you rich people to mass-produce offspring like running a factory. Wait, no, this story isn't over yet. You'd think that was the end of it, but according to leaks from Su Bo's ex-partner Tang Jing, the 20 boys Su Bo mentioned were just the tip of the iceberg of his massive breeding plan. To shut Tang Jing up, Su Bo flipped the script and sued her. As a result, during the trial, Tang Jing revealed that the total number of children Su Bo had through surrogacy and multiple partners exceeded 300. Su Bo's company specifically issued a statement to debunk the rumors, saying, "There are absolutely number 300 kids. It's all fake news, actually our boss only has about 100 children." Good grief, only 100 children. They say it like it's no big deal, poverty really does limit our imagination. Normal people can barely afford to raise even one child these days. How on earth are these billionaires pulling this off? It's what I just called gacha-style baby making. It relies on a technology called PGTP, which stands for pre-implantation genetic testing for polygenic diseases. The process is a bit like the mature IVF technology we have today. Step 1. Give the woman ovulation-inducing drugs. Doctors extract eggs via a minimally invasive procedure, and the man provides sperm for in vitro fertilization. Step 2. Cultivate them in the lab for 5 to 6 days until they develop into blastocysts. Then doctors use a laser to make a tiny hole in the outer layer of the embryo and suck out a few cells for testing. Step 3 is the core, whole genome sequencing to check for major diseases and chromosomal abnormalities. The original intention of this tech was for medical treatment like screening for diabetes and coronary heart disease. But slowly, capital caught a whiff of the money to be made. Paired with powerful AI algorithms, it can actually predict this embryo's future resume. There's a company called Nucleus Genomics that's even more straightforward and brutal. Their slogan is "Longevity begins at birth." They claim that through genetic testing they can predict the embryo's IQ, looks, personality, eye color, hair color, height, and even whether they'll go bald can be predicted in advance. This project is just like a pay-to-win gacha game, where millionaires can keep dumping money in until they pull an SSR tier character. Theoretically, as long as there are enough sperm and eggs, you can filter infinitely until you select the perfect human. The remaining embryos are either frozen or destroyed outright, just like dusting common cards after a gacha pull. This scenario is exactly like that 1997 American movie, Gattaca. where the rich control genetics to produce offspring with superior IQs and strong bodies, enjoying top-tier resources, while the poor rely on natural pregnancy to give birth to flawed humans who do bottom-tier jobs. So how much does genetic editing cost? Anywhere from a few thousand to tens of thousands of dollars. One company charges a whopping $50,000 to screen 100 embryos. Did you think this was still in the research and development phase? An American urologist, Dr. Raphael Yekieli, and his wife have already used polygenic scoring to select 5 out of 16 embryos for testing, eliminated the abnormal ones, and gave birth to their baby Aurea. 36 Krona also reported on a company combining IVG, meaning they don't even need a human body, they can directly create eggs and sperm in the lab. This is moving way too fast. If you have money, you can infinitely create embryos. Let's look again at how Musk managed to pump out 11 kids. He and his first wife had 6 children in total, all boys using IVF tech with strict genetic screening, because their first child died prematurely, which was a huge blow to them. Later, with his musician girlfriend, he came up with a more extremely free tech shaved ice mode, completely unbound by traditional childbearing norms and gender relations. The first one was carried by the biological mother. The next 2 were straight up surrogacy, and when the second one was conceived, the 2 had already officially announced their breakup, describing their relationship as best friends. Musk has a female executive working under him. Musk jumped out and said, "What do you think of me?" And his reasoning was that smart people should have more kids to pass down their excellent genes. The female executive agreed and got pregnant via IVF. Coincidentally, his musician girlfriend's surrogate mother and this female executive were actually receiving prenatal care at the exact same hospital. This was kept secret for a long time, until later when one of Musk's sons transitioned and took his biological mother's last name, and Musk's father married Musk's stepsister and had kids, a total mess, which made Musk impulsively demand the female executive's kids change their last name to Musk, resulting in the documents leaking and getting exposed. The female executive knows the drill, bluntly expressing her admiration and stating she doesn't expect Musk to take on a traditional father role, an attitude that made Musk very happy, so they kept having more and more kids, and there are already 4 exposed now. How does Musk manage these dozen kids and their moms? The Wall Street Journal exposed his dispute with the mother of his 11th child, influencer and author Ashley S. Vance. Musk loves posting on X like a blogger and secretly sliding into the DMs of women he likes. He and Ashley met up after talking online, and Musk told her he had recruited surrogate mothers with the goal of getting his children to legion size before the end of the world. Of course, casting a wide net also has its failures. An influencer named Timmy Fong was DM'd by Musk asking her to have a few kids, which terrified her, as the 2 had never even met in person once. In the end, because she told Ashley about it, Musk unfollowed her. Musk has designed an extremely strict management mechanism, consisting of a grand butler, several agreements, and massive amounts of cash. The grand butler is the head of the family office, responsible for arranging pregnancy affairs and persuading the mothers to sign NDAs. The core rule is to prevent the kids from being linked to him. Don't put his name on the birth certificate, don't hire lawyers, and don't do paternity tests. The compensation is also massive. Millions of dollars during pregnancy, $15 million for signing the agreement, and $100,000 a month in child support. That guy Subo is even more insane. His genetic customization is a severely corrupted form of genetic screening. He demanded the surrogacy agency filter for male chromosomes first, then pick genes for tall height and high IQ, and even specifically eliminate genes for emotional sensitivity. This is treating life as a commodity with preset parameters, just to pick out a business heir. He bought 5 luxury villas in Irvine and New York as centralized child-rearing hubs, each staffed with over 10 nannies, nutritionists, and private tutors. After the kids are born, they rarely see him and get 0 emotional companionship. These lives come into the world without knowing who their mom and dad are, growing up like pre-programmed software, destined to fly first class back to China to inherit the family fortune. Just imagine, 30 years from now, hundreds of middle-aged men with similar faces sitting around a room, with their elderly father, the creator, in the middle. He sees family prosperity, but what I see is drifting further and further away from the essence of being human. These seemingly elite middle-aged men are nothing but victims of an ethical tragedy. How pathetic. Then there's Wang Huiwu from Hope Education, who bought dozens of eggs and used surrogates to have 10 daughters. The eggs came from models, PhDs in finance, and musicians. He chose to have daughters because he intends to use marriage alliances to network with the global elite class. There's also Telegram founder Pavel Durov, who announced he would fully cover the IVF costs for women under 37 who want to use his sperm, and the children can inherit his fortune. His net worth is $17 billion, but the claims that he has over 100 biological children in 12 countries haven't been verified and are likely exaggerated. Why are top-tier billionaires all so obsessed with breeding like crazy? The experts lack the big picture, let me tell you. The first principle of life is survival and reproduction. The ultimate goal of survival is also to find opportunities to reproduce. Species evolution is a gradual process across countless offspring, breaking through the genetic limitations of the previous generation. The wealthy understand this truth deeply. Humans are the only vehicle for the continuation of civilization. Having children is a long-term investment for the family, the clan, and even the destiny of all mankind. In this world, the most expensive asset will always be life itself. Do you think not having kids saves money? The biggest perk of having kids is taking over the social assets of those who don't have them. I'm being serious. The fertility rate in Shanghai is only 0.6 per woman. In 100 years there will be no locals left in Shanghai, so what happens to their houses and cars? They'll definitely be confiscated and socialized. So in the future, if you have kids, you have assets, and in the future kids are the assets. We won't lack assets in the future. AI will do a lot of things for us. What we'll lack is people. When the time comes and Shanghai folks don't reproduce, just send 2 of your kids over to collect their houses. Young people today are afraid to have kids, hijacked by the reproductive qualification theory, feeling that if they don't have money for a house in a good school district, they don't deserve to have kids. If they can't travel abroad, they don't deserve it, and if they can't provide the best material goods, they're being irresponsible. This is actually the alienation of life by consumerism. Do you need a literal throne to inherit to be worthy of having kids? Did our parents only have us after they achieved fame and success? Social competition is never horizontal, parallel competition. It's a vertical intergenerational relay race. Life has infinite possibilities, but if you give up on reproducing, all those possibilities will never appear again. If the parents of billionaires gave up, would there be billionaires? If the ancestors of giraffes gave up, would there be giraffes today? So my advice is, if you can and have the opportunity, have more kids. Don't worry about education, just give them a happy education. As long as they aren't stupid, have a normal brain, and know how to press a button, that's fine. Using AI in the future is just pressing buttons. You don't need to overthink it. Society is going to take 2 paths. One is high-end STEM fields, and the other is technical blue-collar. Whatever you do, don't all go for the straight-A student route. Straight-A kids are raised for society, while the struggling students are raised for yourself. The struggling kids will stay by their parents' side, while the straight-A students will all run off and you'll never see them. Having more kids to keep us company as we slowly grow old, that is the most meaningful thing. However, this non-medical genetic screening by the rich will breed genetic privilege, shattering the social consensus that all men are created equal. When money and power dictate genetic screening, the rich mass-customize premium offspring while ordinary people passively accept natural birth, directly tying genetics to social class and further cementing those class divides. And you know what's even scarier? This tech is still highly controversial. Polygenic scoring for embryo screening is still immature. Human height and IQ aren't determined by a single gene, so this so-called screening for high IQ is just a gimmick. If gacha-style baby making is a forbidden art, then gene editing is the most forbidden of them all. In 2018, Associate Professor He Jiankui from Southern University of Science and Technology secretly experimented on gene-edited embryos. He recruited 8 couples where the male was an HIV patient, and used IVF to alter the CCR5 gene in twin girls to make them immune to HIV. After the twins were born in November 2018, he announced the news globally. What awaited him was prison, receiving a 3-year sentence, a $3 million fine, and a lifetime ban from working in assisted reproduction. The whole world opposed it because the technology is uncontrollable. Gene editing is hacking away at billions of base pairs. Theoretically, it could make someone grow to 1.9 meters tall or turn them into Einstein, but that's completely impossible right now. He Jiankui's experiment actually had off-target effects, increasing the risks of cancer and heart disease. The most terrifying part is that these changes could be hereditary, polluting the entire human gene pool. When we start creating mutants and unlocking a real-life World War Z, that will be the true apocalypse. Of course, there are also legal gene editing treatments for babies this year, but that's because they target rare metabolic diseases, only affect specific cells, and won't be inherited by the next generation. But He Jiankui's was germline gene editing, which is heritable and severely lacked ethical approval. Those 2 twins are being treated as test subjects, observed for life, and will never be able to have a normal life. In the face of money, ethics always seem pale and powerless. Billionaires spend a little pocket change, pack up their reproductive fluids, and send them through a professional one-stop service to be implanted into a surrogate mother's body, and 10 months later, a living little life is produced just like a factory commodity. In California, there's a fully commercialized service system, where you can buy eggs from Taiwanese donors, and hit up Los Angeles's IVF Street, getting it all done for hundreds of thousands of RMB. Technology is neutral, but how it's used must have boundaries. AI algorithms and embryo screening iterations are moving way too fast. We used to say, there are no standard answers in life. You can live out a miracle. In the future, will capital algorithms have already set the standard answers, deciding who is worthy to live and worthy to be loved? The top tiny fraction of humanity will always be ahead. True love isn't about selecting the most perfect person, but knowing they are totally average and ordinary, yet still being willing to stand by them and create a one-of-a-kind life together.